Hi everyone. Today I am here with another one of our past graduates, Dani Gaggl. How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you, Beth?
That's good. I'm pretty good today. So Dani has come back to the Wake campus as part of her job actually, but she's very kindly dropped in on one of her old classrooms to do this video. So Dani, when did you finish your studies here at the Wake?
I finished my studies at the end of 2017. I went all the way through, so I did 4 years back to back, and yep, I finished last year, December, and then I, luckily enough, got a job at Yalumba Nursery straight after.
Wow, so you really didn't have any downtime between finishing your degree?
I got my job before I finished my exams.
Wow,
so
okay.
Definitely didn't have too much downtime. They luckily gave me a month and a half before I had to start work, which was very nice.
But you knew you had a job lined up?
I had a job lined up, which was very lucky.
Excellent. So where did you do, I know you do industry experience as part of the videonology degree. Did you do your industry experience where you've ended up getting your job or not?
I did it in the same sort of sector, so I did do viticulture as my industry experience. I actually won the Jacobs Creek Scholarship, and I was in Pernod Ricard vineyards in the Adelaide Hills. Now I'm doing nursery work, so it is a different sector of viticulture, but I have continued in the viticulture industry.
So were connections that you made during your industry experience important, do you think, in terms of this job that you've got now?
Yes, I believe the experience did help me out in getting my job. It's actually really interesting that a lot of people that I did meet along the way in my previous job with Pernod Ricard, I have seen already in my first 3 months here, so I've had a few conversations with growers that I dealt with Pernod Ricard, and I have dealt with Pernod Ricard as well in this job, so it has really helped given me a foot up with the course.
Yeah. So networking is important,
definitely.
Right, from the where to go. Yeah. So thinking back on your undergraduate degree, which now that you're in the workforce, it probably feels like it was actually quite a long time ago already. What are the courses that you think had a really big impact on you in terms of setting you up for what your career is sort of developing into?
I think one of the main ones was viticultural methods, because I gave a really good practical experience in vineyards, so you got to learn a lot about the mechanisms and all of the canopy management and all of that kind of side of things, and I thought that was a really interesting take rather than the nitty-gritty science of it all.
Okay.
But also in saying that in my position I have a very diversified role, so I work a lot in the vineyards, I do a lot of clonal development as well, and I will be venturing into tissue culture. So those laboratory skills that I learned in other of the viticultural sciences did help a lot as well. And surprisingly enough, genes did help quite a bit. Sadly, I'm sorry to tell you guys that, but genes was handy.
Wow, so that genes and inheritance staff will be really happy to hear that genes is a useful course. So obviously genes and inheritance was probably fairly challenging at the time that you were doing the course.
It was definitely one of the toughest courses that we went through, just because it was so different to the other courses. We didn't really handle too much of those real kind of nitty-gritty, looking at the DNA strands and RNA strands, a lot of that in many of our other courses. I think we touched it in bio in first year, but definitely not to the degree that genes did. And that's a different kind of side of the brain, I reckon, that you've got to really
engage.
Knuckle down and learn it properly to actually get through.
Were there any other courses that really challenged you at the time which have turned out to be useful in terms of integrating knowledge?
Biochemistry, probably. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a tough course, but it got you into that chemical mind frame. I'm not using it so much in my degree, but I know that in the winemaking side, it is very helpful. It is really helpful in just knowing what kind of chemical reactions are occurring at that time, and having biochemistry, especially taught at Wait and given a bit more of a wine background. So you do learn it with those kind of examples, really instills that and the importance of it, and you do see that when you enter the industry.
Sure. So I guess what you're saying there is although they're tough, as long as there are relevant examples, then it does at least put it into some sort of context.
Exactly, yes. Stab and clary, also quite hard, but that is, from the get-go, that's very
Right.
useful, and it is something you need to know for winemaking in particular.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've been in your job at Yalumba now for 3 months.
Yes.
How do you see your career developing, I guess, over the next couple of years?
Well, it's developing quite rapidly at the moment. So I have been thrown into my role and they've been giving me lots of things to do, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I'm learning so much as I go, and I reckon it's a really great place to start my career, and I'm really looking forward to pushing that for the next few years and seeing where it takes me, really. I do still have some interest in having a hand at winemaking. I was always under the impression that I love both aspects of the degree, both the viticulture and the enology, and I would love to have a go at trying both of them in my time. But at the moment I'm really happy with the step that I've taken, and I'd like to see that through as far as I can.
Awesome, that sounds really good. So do you reckon do you feel as though when you did your first day at your job, did you feel that you had enough background to sort of not completely drown as a worker?
I was really nervous, so I was very, very scared, and there was always that kind of aspect of, oh, have I done enough? Do I know enough for this position? But I have stumbled a little, but I haven't really tripped up. Mm-hmm. I've been taking everything as it comes to me, and I've just found that my knowledge has picked me up, and sometimes a question gets asked, and without even realising it, the answer comes out of my mouth, and I'm like, oh, I actually know that. And it's really exciting times like that really make me feel a bit more comfortable in my position, feel like I can actually tackle this. But another thing that has helped is my boss, having started the job, he firsthand said, we do understand you've come straight from university. There will be a learning curve, we understand that, and we'll help you along the way, and that's really been a big help.
Yeah.
So I haven't had any problems if I had a question answer to ask. They've answered anything that I've put forth to them, so I've been lucky in that respect too.
Fantastic.
Got a good team to work with.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for making time for us today.
No problem, it was lovely seeing you again.
And you, and I just hope that the future continues to be rosy for you.
Thank you very much, I hope so too. Probably not, but that's life.
Ups and downs. Thanks, Dani.
Thank you, bye.